Now, the Tuscaloosa Chevrolet Sports Update with WVUA's Gary Harris.
Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Hoyer in for Gary Harris. Well, the Alabama Crimson Tide held a closed practice today. It was so closed, even the media were not allowed in to view it. But I can tell you, after 5 days of practicing fundamentals, this week the Tide will be practicing on Notre Dame. And when you watch the Irish, you can't help but see number 5 on the defense, Heisman Trophy finalist Manti Te'o making plays. Nick Saban says it's hard to scheme for Te'o because he seems to be everywhere on the field.
He's a really good player, and I think he's a physical player. You know, I think the style of player that he is, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to say, okay, we want to run at this guy because, you know, he can't take on blocks. He can take on blocks. He's physical. He's tough. He's very instinctive. And, you know, he runs well and covers the field well. So that's what I think makes him a great player. So there's no saying that, all right, we're going to run at the guy, we're going to run away from the guy, because I think he's effective either way. That's why he's such a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, the guy's at the Heisman for a reason, and I mean, he can make plays and does a lot for their defense, heart and soul.
Turning to the hard court, with Carl Engstrom out for the season with a torn ACL and Andrew Steele on the bench dealing with a sports hernia injury, the Alabama basketball team is struggling to find ways of scoring. In last Saturday's disappointing 66-59 loss to Mercer, the Tide managed only 2 players in double figures. It was the men's 4th loss in the last 5 games, and Anthony Grant says the product on the floor is not good right now.
It is what it is, you know, so, you know, you saw the game, you see the results, okay? 50-50 balls when you get out hustled too. That has nothing to do with talent. Okay, when you have breakdown after breakdown that causes bad offensive possessions or them to get success on their offensive end. Okay, those aren't what beat us today. Had nothing to do with talent. It was more effort and focus and pride in performance. And you know, it's frustrating, you know, right now as a coach to admit that, really. It's embarrassing to admit that.
In the NFL, the 2013 Pro Bowl rosters were announced today, and former Alabama receiver and current Atlanta Falcons receiver Julio Jones was named to the NFC roster for the first time in his 2nd season in the league. Jones had a spectacular season in Atlanta in 2012 with 76 receptions for 1,142 yards and 10 touchdowns. With 1 week remaining in the regular season, Julio ranks 11th in receiving yards and is tied for 6th in the NFL in receiving TDs. Julio was the only former Crimson Tide player selected to the Pro Bowl this season. Cleveland Browns coach Pat Shurmur said Trent Richardson's ankle injury is not as serious as first thought. Trent was hurt late in the 4th quarter when Colt McCoy fell on his left ankle after being hit by Broncos safety Mike Adams. After the game, Richardson was carted off the field. According to the Cleveland Plain Dealer newspaper, Trent will not need surgery on his injured ankle and will be held out of practice today. In fact, the former Alabama running back has not been ruled out of Sunday's game at Pittsburgh. Right now, he is listed as questionable, and the owners are monitoring the situation. Richardson broke Jim Brown's 1957 franchise rookie rushing record against Denver. Not bad for a guy dealing with sore ribs most of the season. When the Jets ran the Wildcat formation in Sunday's 27-17 loss to the San Diego Chargers, Tebow never got into the game in the team's Wildcat package. Instead, the Jets used wide receiver Jeremy Curley as Tebow remained on the sideline. Tim insisted he did not ask out of running the team's Wildcat plays, but asked head coach Rex Ryan to give him an opportunity to play the position he loves, which is quarterback. He thinks Ryan misunderstood him as saying that if he could not play quarterback, then he would not play any position at all. And Tebow says that was never the case.
I never said, hey, I don't want to do anything or I won't do anything. That wasn't the talk at all. And he knows that, and everybody in this team knows that I would, never not do something if I was asked. And I think that's what's disappointing in the whole situation is just, people saying, oh, that, you quit or you didn't do this. That was not it at all. It was just me, asking, to get an opportunity to play the position I love, which is quarterback.
And Central Michigan defeated Western Kentucky 24-21 in the Little Caesars Bowl. Let's look at sports, more news right after this.
This has been the Tuscaloosa Chevrolet Sports Update on WVUA. Roll, Chevy, roll.